the last video, we looked at the presider's chair. Today we look at another prominent feature in the sanctuary, the tabernacle. Hearing stories from non-Catholics, it becomes clear right away that there's a certain fascination around this gold box found in each Catholic church. One such story I heard, the family came into the church and wondered what was in the box. Is that where they keep the collection? The tabernacle holds great significance as it's the resting place of the Eucharist outside of Mass. Knowing that Christ is truly present, body, blood, soul, and divinity, we know that when we come before the tabernacle, we come before the true presence of God in this world. This is why we say that every church is a house of God. He truly resides in this sacred space. As such, we treat it with its own unique reverence and dignity. This, of course, is nothing new. As the Israelites traveled through the desert, they had the meeting tent pitched outside of the camp where God would come down and talk to Moses. It was God's presence with his people. Later, the meeting tent evolved into the Holy of Holies found in the temple in Jerusalem. Again, God's presence clearly distinguished on this earth. The tent of meeting was also known as the tabernacle tent. We see the connection instantly. All throughout salvation history, God has desired to have a designated place where we can go and be with him. Today, that place is the tabernacle, which can be found in every Catholic church. The Second Vatican Council reiterates the truth that the Eucharist is the source and summit of the Christian life. So to be a true Christian, we need to have a Eucharistic-centered life. This means spending time before our Lord in the Blessed Sacrament. We can do this either in Eucharistic adoration, where our Lord is on the monstrance on the altar, or in front of the tabernacle. Directed toward this end, each church is supposed to follow specific guidelines on the proper placement of the tabernacle to foster this devotion. The first thing to note, there's a direct connection between the altar and the tabernacle. If it's on the altar that the holy sacrifice of the Mass is offered and the Eucharist is given to us, then it makes sense that it should be linked with the tabernacle, where the unconsumed host from Mass, the Eucharist, is reserved. Close proximity between these two helps us to understand this reality. The next notable direction is that the tabernacle is supposed to be prominent, conspicuous, beautifully decorated, and a suitable place for prayer. The last one's where things can get a little sticky. Particularly in large churches, there's an option to reserve the tabernacle in a place other than the main sanctuary to act as an adoration chapel or a small chapel used for daily Mass. By doing this, it helps to foster the idea that before our Lord, we should always have a posture of reverence and prayer. I've been blessed to spend hours in some of the great basilicas in Rome. The challenge is finding a place to pray. Many times these churches can feel more like museums with bustling tourists than places of prayer. Having our Lord in the tabernacle set off to the side in an adoration chapel allowed for a quiet place to go and pray in the midst of everything else going on outside. But the average church is not St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. Every church is called to be a house of prayer, a place to go to grow closer to our Lord. If we can recapture this understanding of the sacredness of the church, then reverence and silence should be the norm in every church. This would allow the placement of the tabernacle in the center of the church near the altar and prominent. Can we really call it the house of God if we place him anywhere other than the front and center without a good reason? If we go into someone's house, we expect that they're going to be the first person that we see. Same with God. When we come into his house, we should expect to see him right there waiting for us. Ultimately, it comes down to the discretion of the local bishop for churches in his diocese. But these are the ruling principles he uses to make his decision. The main point, we should challenge ourselves and ask, is there anything else that we can do to deepen our devotion to our Lord in the Blessed Sacrament? Thank you for watching, and never hold back from asking the Associate. God bless.